about that.
Yeah, because that way I can go get it.
All right, we're 18:02. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. Dennis, did you have any public comments?
No, I don't, not this evening.
Okay, thank you. Did everyone have a chance to review the financial reports?
So,
District
Cindy,
Oh.
I just need to make an addition to the.
Sure, sorry. I was
That's okay.
forget to.
I don't think that it's not on here, so. Okay, so. In the budget part, in the new business, I need to add a discussion around the goals.
Okay. So where with the,
Just, we can just do it either right after the budget calendar.
okay, and that's the COLA?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I would like to add, talking about the ambulance bank statement that got sent, change from Lisa to another board member, if we could add that in to, I always forget the addition.
Could I add that whole business about the loans? Your stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
For it.
All right, anything else? Sorry about that. Okay, financial reports, we have a motion to approve.
I just had a few comments. We are on, judging by that was a good call to have Azalea doing our billing.
Okay.
I mean, from July to March, we've $39,660. Yeah, so we're on the right track. That was a good call. Yeah.
Well, and I would just like to say that, heaven forbid we have a crazy transition with administrators again in the future, but if that were to happen, the billing is set and organized, and that will continue no matter what happens with, and that's really important. And we certainly had some hiccups along the way with that, so I'm glad that it's going along.
And that, and also, I can't remember what was the percentage of your charges?
7.5.
So was it 7.5?
Yeah, 7.5. They initially quoted us 7.75 the audit. And then I had to argue with them because they charged 7.75. Yeah.
And I just think that consistency with that moving forward is going to be.
Then I had a question. What does the WIPFLI LILLP stand for?
So that's
is that clinic materials. Is that right?
So that is the company that does our Medicare cost report. Every year, as a rural health clinic, we have to do a Medicare cost report. And there is a company that we work with to get that done. I have to provide them all the information, and they do the report.
Okay, all right. Just like and the billing company, they have nothing.
No, it's a completely different.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Is this a once a deal type of payment? Or is that going to show?
I think so that's the first part of the payment, and then
Right.
once they get done, which they should be getting done, like it's due at the end of this month, I think, then they'll submit the second half of that payment.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Good enough, that's all I got.
With fleet, I don't know, they're very helpful, that's all I know.
I think it involves our ability to build Medicare by keeping things, our ducks in a row.
Yeah. I say, yeah, I don't understand.
So it's not the actual billing,
Right.
it's the ability
To bill.
Like it's almost like a separate audit kind of thing, like
Exactly.
yeah,
To just keep track of your Medicare.
Because they're wanting to know how many visits, races, ethnicities that have been through the clinic.
Okay.
And
I mean, it's a huge.
Yeah, financial,
information.
all of our payroll stuff. I mean, it's a lot of stuff. And thankfully, Holly has the files on the computer from previous years. And so, I mean, plenty of the items, like I don't know what they are. And they, they're very helpful. And I met with them in the very beginning and I said, I don't know any of this. They're just very patient and helpful, but Holly has, you know, like reports and those kinds of things that made it a little bit easier for me to gather the information for them. So
Okay, good. Thank you.
we're getting to the end too, so.
Okay,
You never did have your Medicare audit, did you? How many years has it been?
I don't know, but they send an email every spring. I did get an email, but they like, you know, they might be coming this spring. So, I don't know. I'm not sure when.
It hasn't been every 4 years. It does.
They might not.
Yeah, they may not come. Yeah,
Because they
that's
haven't
what I'm
come.
talking about. A Medicare rural health.
They did do the box survey last year, you know, after
Yeah.
Holly left, I think it was. Yeah, so.
I expected them to be here like a month following. that.
Yeah.
because we did a lot of work that was facility things and, I mean, it was, Jim was up here cleaning light fixtures and we had to do exit signs and
Oh, yeah.
put locks on cabinets, certain
The
cabinets.
signpost out here in the front with the handicap sign.
We had to have the handicap parking sign, and so anyway, it was a bunch of.
So it's good to get done.
It was good to get done, we had a lot of people working hard on that, so that was good.
I make a motion to financial reports March be approved.
Okay, we have a second, Tori, all those in favor? Okay, unanimous, and approval of the bills.
I'll make a motion to approve the
Okay,
bills.
in a second.
I'll second that.
David, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
I will not vote on the minutes, I was not here last week, but we're welcome.
I make
Yeah.
a motion to approve the minutes from the March 18th regular board meeting.
Okay, in a second.
I'll second that. Once
Okay,
again, those are very quick.
Yes.
Minutes, Lisa, and that's pretty
thank you.
nice to go back to those and see what, yeah.
Yeah, and good for me, Sarah. All those in favor?
Aye.
So why don't we do these, hopefully some of these quick, the bank statement for the ambulance, that's just a auditing protection. Lisa in the past has thought that, so it's way overdue in getting shifted over. So a board member, it cannot be me because I help put those reports together. So it needs to be one of you four would get the, an additional copy of the ambulance bank statement mailed to you, and it'd just be the Bank of Eastern Oregon checking account statement, and then bring it to the meeting, and then compare it to the ones that Shannon and I put in the report, make sure that the one that is directly to a board member matches the report.
And then just have them go in there or just.
No, it just gets tossed, and then I get the clinic one, and then I bring that one to the meeting, compare it to what Lisa's put in the reports, and make sure they have the same figures in that on them. So it's just a check, and when we get information from the auditors, they always ask what things you have in place to protect the organization from fraud, and so those are small things that we can have in place. So I just need somebody who would be willing to get that ambulance bank statement, so we can get that in the minutes, so that we can.
But the thing of it is, you know, I don't look through this. You know what I mean? We haven't. I would be getting the statements for the bank. Right,
You get this,
right.
and then just bring it to the meeting, and all I do when I look at the the clinic ones, is
Yeah.
just make sure the previous balance, the checks and ending balances matches, so that somebody hasn't fabricated these that they're presenting.
So, okay, and then so I would bring the copy that I got and compare it to this one that's here. Okay, and then when I sign off on that, I'm just saying that I look at that first page. Is that correct? Or is it saying that I look
If
at
you
all
would
of it?
like to look at more of these, this literally is just the bank statement.
Correct.
So it has like the deposit slips and any checks that were written. However, the bill part, the bills of the ambulance service, the original bills are
Right.
here.
But my question is, when I sign off, am I signing something if I do this? I mean, am I saying that I look at this?
You're saying that the one that was mailed to you directly from the bank
Matches
matches this
just the
one.
front page?
Yeah.
Okay. all right,
Because it
I'll do
would be very difficult to
Yeah, that's.
fabricate anything within the statement if you were messing with the end
Gotcha,
numbers.
right, okay.
So-
I,
I mean, I do at home,
yeah,
I look through the ambulance bank statement.
right,
Excuse me, the health district bank statement,
yeah,
and I look through it and just see who the checks were to, and the ambulance one is easy because it's 2 pages.
Right.
It's very brief. We're lucky to write 12 checks a month.
right,
You know, if there were big gaps, sometimes those are things, I know Holly always told us to look at that. Like if you have an asterisk after here, it shows there was a gap in the check that was received,
oh, that's okay.
you know, so, and sometimes we have outstanding checks that haven't gotten cashed or whatever, but you just keep an eye on. The important thing is that the one that's mailed directly to you
Right.
matches the one that Shannon and I are providing to the board.
That's fine,
Okay.
I would be willing.
Okay, good deal.
Thank you, Molly.
Okay. And David, then what is, do you get your mail at a post office box or?
Yeah, or could it be email, or is it got?
No, it's gotta be a
Okay,
paper copy.
16.
16889 Grinder Lane. Okay.
Okay. Fossil,
Awesome. 97830.
correct.
So we need an official motion, though, right?
I believe we do.
Yeah.
To,
I'll make the motion for David to be
Receiver.
the receiver, the security backup for the ambulance.
okay. All right. All those in favor, Tori, Kathy? Aye. Everybody good with that one? Okay, unanimous. All right. Do we want to do the wellness center
I think that would be under business.
under old business? Okay. Do we want to go to the budget calendar?
Yeah, let's do the budget stuff just
Okay.
real quickly. So at the last meeting, I did present a budget calendar, but since then I got one that was, well, Catherine actually helped me create or gave me an example of the cities. And so I just made one that was more, I guess, has more detail to it. And so if you'd like to take a look at it, I added this meeting tonight where we officially need to appoint Nicole as the budget officer. The budget committee members, we don't have to do that because that's already been done. Right.
Yes, they were appointed last.
And then just adopt this revised calendar. So this has, the old one didn't have where I'm supposed to publish the notices for the budget committees, the first, second notice. And then if we need a second budget committee meeting, that is scheduled as well. The notice of the budget hearing and financial summary has to be 5 to 25 days. Budget hearing 6 o'clock on the 17th, which I think I had that one obviously on there. And then I added the July 15th date where I have to submit the tax certification documents to the assessor. So it's just more detail. Nothing has changed about the dates from the last one. If there's just dates added on here, for things that I need to make sure that I do, like the publishing and all that.
Do we have to adopt that by motion?
The revised budget
We accept the revised budget calendar for 24-25.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and I know, we only had one budget committee member that their term expired in December, but we had already appointed her
Yeah.
earlier this year
Yeah.
to continue with that. So our budget committee is
Already
set.
done.
Yeah.
So then the only thing that I'd like to just make sure that we have in the minutes is, because I know that we've talked about Nicole being the budget officer, but I think just to be official, we should have a motion in a second to,
For Nicole to be the budget officer, I'll make a motion. For Nicole Shaw to be the budget officer.
Okay, and the second, Tori, any discussion or anything? All those in favor?
She
She
did a
great
job
job
last year.
for us last year with short time, yeah.
Aye.
Okay, all those in favor, good, okay,
your situation.
Okay.
Good.
Policies and procedures,
Now let's do the COLA stuff first.
COLA stuff, got it.
So speaking of Nicole, her and I have met twice now to start working on the budget, and what she suggested that I do is, so we're looking at the personnel services piece of the budget, and so I think that, I'm not sure exactly how it's happened in the past. For the providers, there's a 2% COLA built into their contract, so they'll get the 2% COLA on July 1st. So for the other employees, I suggested, I have the numbers for 3% or 5%, and just want the board to decide whether it's a 3% or 5% for the other employees this year.
Can we do that before we have any idea of budget?
You don't have to,
Kind of
Nicole.
where the money
Yeah,
is?
Nicole she said you should take it to the board, see what they say, they might want to have more information, or they make a decision, and that's fine too. So,
I hate to, suggest that, say 5%, but the budget wouldn't really allow
Yeah.
5%, because we have to do something,
right,
The county's established CPI, this year is 3.5.
yeah, and that's what, I looked it up online, and it was a 3.5%.
And so what you're proposing is 3 or 5?
I just have- Yeah.
Pick something.
I just used her handy dandy little spreadsheets.
Yeah.
And created, basically, it's just a total amount, what, in terms of what the personnel services would be if it were a 3% increase or a 5% increase. And I also wrote down what it was in the 23-24 budget, the total amount. So the total amount in 23-24 was $900,000 to $640,000. Is that the right way to say that? If it were a 3%, 920,000 even, and these are rough estimates, of course, rounded up.
Additional or total?
No, total, I'm sorry. Total.
In fact.
Yep,
Okay.
and then 5% would be 930,000.
So about 20 to 30.
Yes.
20,000 for the 3%, 30,000 for the 5%.
And since we're on the topic, there's been an increase in the health insurance also. That should be put into the budget. Yeah, when we do the budget. Yeah, I have that. These numbers are already put into the budget, but I just wanted to make sure. I met with SDIS recently, and they described all the increases. And we actually have, it's an 8.82% increase from last year. And so it went from 127,050 total in 23-24. And I have budgeted 150,000 for this year.
Oh, insurance is, car insurance.
Everything.
25%. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Disgusting, and it's, you know, it's something that you pay and pray that you never have to use.
Yeah.
It, I was thinking 2%, and then I think huge numbers, and then it's not as big of numbers as I think, but I think I would like more budget information.
And I would feel better if we talked about it at actual budget
Mhm.
committee. We're talking about the budget.
Okay.
Because then we'd have all the numbers in front of us.
Yeah, if she compares it last year to the new budget, we can see, you know, where things are increasing or where we did real good.
And we
Kind
kind
of helps.
of know that. That's,
Mhm.
insurance cost increase.
Okay.
All right. And I got off on my, like, we did appoint the budget, right?
Yes.
Okay, and do we have to do that every year? Because I know we did appoint last year, but is it something we probably should do each year for that budget year?
You know, on the budget calendar that,
It just
that
says-
has the city, or the city that Catherine sent to me, and, you know, the example, it did have,
Have.
yeah, it did have a point the budget committee
County does
does every year. So
Okay,
it might be a good idea to do that.
okay, no, cool.
So let's go, so the budget committee members then are, Jordan Maley, Leah Watkins, Catherine Reiner, Jessica Isley, and is there a
Penny
fifth one?
Fender.
Oh, and Penny Fender, yep. So those are the 5. And so if we want to have a motion to appoint those officially again.
I thought they were on.
They are on the years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So I don't know.
So we don't.
Yeah, no.
No, because we did a 1-year term, a 2-year term, and a 3-year term.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Leah did the 1-year term. And so she was the only one that was coming due, that came due in December. So everybody else has 1 or 2 more years, or they were
Yeah, and Catherine and Jessica were both through that 3 years.
3-year, and Jordan and Penny were 2 years.
Okay. So
So
we're good with that.
So it'll be Penny and Jordan that
Goes off.
either they'll go off at the end of this year, and then the following year it'll be Jessica. Okay. Anything else?
So like I said, yeah, Nicole and I have met twice now, and then we have 2, she's gone this whole week, and we have 2 meetings scheduled next week. But yeah, it seems like we're making progress every time. She has, you know, she's a superstar when it comes to numbers.
Yeah.
And so she gives me things that I need to work on in between. It seemed to go pretty well, so I know she's super busy, and so I'm trying to be respectful of her time and do whatever I can outside of it in order to, you know, her to spend as little time as possible on it, so.
And the budget calendar was in the meeting packet.
I don't think so.
No, it wasn't.
No,
We
I'll-
needed one here.
yeah,
Copy of that.
I'll
and so-
resend it, yeah.
And then did we get, I know you talked about a save the date thing to the budget.
Yes, I did send that. I did send the last one to them, but I'll resend the new
Okay.
one.
Okay.
And that's how the conversation started, is I sent it and Catherine responded, and she had some ideas or suggestions or whatever. And so I just redid it and told her that I would,
If you make sure that I get a copy of that, I'll make sure it's on the website on the front page.
Oh, yeah. Great idea. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next, so when we went to the SDAO conference, I remember Monica talking about that she thinks that it's best that boards have board policies and procedures rather than bylaws. Remember that when she said that? And so then I came back and I was looking for our board policies and procedures, and I found bylaws. So they were created in 2012. And I guess my question is, does the board want me to work with Monica to work on creating actual board policies and procedures? Reading through these, some of the things that or at least one thing that I see that's missing, is like contracting rules. You know, it's not real super specific about that, and that's one thing that's come up with the construction stuff. It's like when we went to the SGCHD conference, all that stuff, like the PowerPoint presentations and stuff, it says like refer back to board policy, and we just don't have that. Which basically what she said at that training was that in those cases, it just, you know, goes back to whatever the ORS is. But that's my question. Would you like me to work with her to create updated policies and procedures for the board? Or are we okay with these bylaws that I had
Well,
sent
those
out?
are from 2012, that's
long
many
time
years
ago.
ago.
They need to be updated.
Definitely,
I'm a
and if we're
policy
gonna
guy.
update, I think it should be a policy.
I'm a policy guy. I think policies are much more strict than a set of, very thin bylaws.
And I strongly agree with your comment about all contracts need to go through the board. So like with the Azalea thing that happened, you know, it should have gone through the board.
But there was no
Whenever that
policy
was-
saying it
But
had to,
there's
so.
nothing saying that it has to. So
Okay, so is it okay if I work with her then to help create those? And she was like the
does she
Yeah.
charge?
Mhm.
Just have to ask.
Can we get, I know we get X amount of hours in special districts, I don't know if that comes under that.
Okay, I can check into
I
that.
was gonna say, we could probably go on to some other health districts' websites and get a copy of their policy and procedures and just
If we had a sample.
do our own.
What, or at least a sample section of what that should look like, or could look like from maybe multiple districts. But maybe we could do a work session.
Yeah.
And then run it by.
Yeah, at the end, like
Run
an
it by
hour.
you.
Yeah,
Hammer out the policies and work session.
Yes,
and then
I'm
do
willing
that.
to.
That would save us probably multiple thousand.
Yeah.
I'm willing to do that.
okay.
I just have a comment about that. Going to that conference, what I got is that I would have to study that and study all those things. I guess our policy could be very simple in that anytime we have a question about that, we just go to a higher authority. To our lawyer, you know what I mean? Because that's what we're gonna end up having. As soon as we have a question that we're not sure about, we're just gonna have to go to someone who does know. And whether or not we set all those policies, we're gonna go through those, and we're still gonna be questioning whether our policies are following that, and we're still gonna go to the lawyer.
But if it's in writing, like my colleague did the Azalea thing, we could have went back and had.
Right, but I mean, still, right, I understand what you're
I
saying.
think we're always going to default to doing.
Yeah,
Government ethics commission.
and rather than paying Monica, we could just have a policy saying that we're, I don't know. Yeah, just go to the lawyer.
Put it down to the lawyers.
Yeah,
Well, it
Absolutely.
needs to be a little more detailed.
But we can have things in there, for example, if something happened and you had a whole brand new board that didn't know, you know,
Right.
this says, you know, you meet once a month
yeah.
on.
Oh, I
the
know.
You know, there will be
Those are
things
those
within,
Yeah.
how many board members there are.
Yeah.
We're not elected from zones like the school board, and we're still elected in zones.
But those things aren't gonna change.
Right.
And Monica's not gonna be
Well,
changing.
no.
But
Right.
there also could be very simple things in a set of policies that we, as a new person that came on the board, it would have been really awesome if I had a book that said, here's the way that.
I asked for a policy procedure handbook and there wasn't one.
Why
Here's the way that-
that's why
and,
you did, after.
You know, highlight or outline a few of the really, really awesome things that can get you in trouble, like when not to go into an executive session, or when
Yeah.
you talk about what executive session in policy you read it. And then all of that other stuff that's written into ORS and into the rules.
But is that gonna be in the board policies, or is that just gonna be in the ethics?
Well, I think you could do both.
But I mean, I would just think our policy would just say, executive session, go see the ethics. You know what I mean?
No, but the thing about it, Dave, though, when I look at a policy manual to me is basically it's a Reader's Digest version of that ethics, the ethics guide that is out there.
Right.
The things that are gonna get you in trouble quickest, you know, and I use my policy and procedure at work all the time. And in a lot of ways, it mirrors Oregon revised statutes or administrative rule and those codes of conduct and so on and so on, but it's the Cliff Notes version of that thing that is, it basically says, hey, don't do this, you're gonna get in trouble.
Right.
And here's where you can go to find out more if you need.
Oh, okay.
That's the kind of thing the policy.
Okay.
Because this stuff that's in here is, it's still relevant. I mean, there's plenty of this, but the way I see this, I just think that there are things that likely need to be added, like the contracting rules. And there's a few things that I wrote in my notes that said, refer to local policy, you know, and so those kinds of things, we just, just need to be updated.
I like the idea of checking some of the other.
Yeah,
districts
yep,
websites.
I'll do that.
And I think there's other things that probably should be in there that, yes, aren't gonna change, and they're going to
Yeah.
be, you could, for example, put in there for elections, consult the county clerk. Yes, you could put that, but it could be in there that, directors for the health district, their residents
Yeah.
must be within the district, not owning property, but their residents
Right.
must be, simple things like that that would outline right away whether, if you gave it to somebody who was interested in running for a board position, here's our board policies, and then,
No, I'm not in the opposition about that. I was just, what my concern is I just don't want it to, does it try to take up all your time
Yeah.
and charging for trying to put in the our board policies, things that it's just gonna be way too much,
Yeah.
And we've gotta go see the lawyer.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
So maybe she's your second step. after
Yeah.
we get
Yeah.
some examples.
so,
So you need a motion on that? Is that correct? No.
anybody else read all the policies? I didn't make it through all of the board policies,
started.
not the board policies, but the actual.
Clinic policies I've got about halfway through.
We're not there yet.
Cindy.
Okay, never mind. Okay. Meeting with the Roundhouse Foundation.
So I met with actually, Ashley and I both met with the Roundhouse Foundation. They are funders out of Central Oregon. It's kind of a tri-fold thing that they do. But one of the things that they do is they have grant funds for organizations, specifically rural health. And so Ashley and I both were just trying to explore, Daleen and I, public health. She wasn't, Daleen was not able to be there, so Ashley was the public health representative. But we're just exploring different revenue streams, I guess. And one of the things that we had a couple of projects in mind that we talked to her about. And one of them was providing 24/7 access to the wellness center. And she seemed pretty interested in that. Like, we explained to her that we would likely need like the, like cameras and the keypad stuff and those kinds of things. And So she did say that that would definitely be something that they might consider. There was a couple of other projects and the staff I've talked to the staff and Mike and Kirk specifically, there were two things that they thought about in terms of equipment. But yeah, so we met with them and we're hoping to create a relationship and hopefully, maybe explore a project to eventually, so.
Good. The Ford Family Foundation, they do just nonprofit, is that correct?
Actually, Keelan was at that meeting as well. She came, she came
As
with,
representative for Ford Family.
I don't necessarily think that that was the intent, but she definitely took a lot of notes and she asked me a lot of questions. And I think that, the key is that maybe there's not funding that she can specifically, or she has specific access to with, the Ford Family Foundation, but she has a lot of relationships with other funders, and that's,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
that's basically what she was saying. So they both seemed super interested in developing a relationship. And they even said, like, just give us a call, if you have some ideas and we can help you walk or talk through it. The cool thing about, what was her name? Rebecca is from the Roundhouse Foundation. She actually used to be in public health. And so she's really familiar with rural health, public health, and those kinds of things. So, yeah.
Thanks.
And I met them way to the meeting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just a lot of spirit, and it was they just had a cool vibe too, so it was an enjoyable conversation.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Keep us updated.
Yes.
Okay, a donation to Condon Youth Baseball, and I know there was a discussion last week about donations, so I'm not 100% sure where everybody was with that, so.
So, at the last meeting, we had talked about different local, people or organizations to donate to. And lo and behold, we got a request from the Condon Youth Baseball for, a donation. To help with the Little League. So it's Fossil and Condon. And there are three different options. We could do an in-kind donation. And there's several pieces of equipment it looks like. Or we could be a 2024 banner sponsor. And that would cost $75, but we would have to provide them with a banner. The third option is donate $300 and excuse me, $150, and the league makes the banner for us. And then in the future, they store the banner as well. In the future, then we would just have to pay the $75 yearly banner sponsor. And I think that they also asked for a donation from public health too, so, and Dalen and I we talked about it, and we both like the option of the paying $150. They get us a banner, they keep the banner, and put it all in here. Yeah. So just wanted to run it by the board and see what you guys think.
But they asked for donation to public health as well.
Yeah.
So that would be two different banners?
Yes.
Oh.
There would be one to
From
promote
public health.
the clinic and separate.
So this is a kind of a form of cheap advertising.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why would go with that? Oh,
I would too.
Yeah, it's local.
So do we need a motion for that?
Yes.
I know that we donate to the common youth baseball for $150.
I'll second.
Do we have to make a motion for public health, or can you make that decision on your own?
I was gonna bring it to you guys, since, we still fall under the same umbrella, and it's the same cover. Same
I would
person.
say I, Dave, then I would make the motion for public health to donate the $150 also for a banner.
Can we vote on the first one?
Okay.
We're gonna have separate motions.
Will that cover both? Because then we have to pay $300.
Okay, I will amend my motion to include both for the Gilman County health district and for public health to donate $150 to Concord baseball each.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay.
Aye.
All those in favor?
Bye.
Inappropriate.
Okay, sure. Yes.
So Shelley Johnson is working with the chamber, and the chamber is exploring sponsorships for the 4th of July as well. And so I had conversations with her about public health things come up, come to me, let us know. So she brought the paperwork up. They are hoping to do more activities, so for several days. And so they were looking for a sponsor for some children's activities. And the two that she brought up was to help with free swim during, sorry, so it'd be Thursday, Friday, Saturday is what it would fall on this year. Or the other one was they want to bring in like bounce houses and slides and things like that for kids to play on. So same thing, I think it's good advertising because they're gonna put up signage around the different activities as to like which businesses, you know, who donated to help make that happen. I voiced a concern about bounce houses because they have a liability that might come with those and what that would look like. And so I said, you know, would we be responsible for having liability insurance to cover those, or does that fall with the chamber, or is you're putting all that on? What's that look like? And Shelley had said no, that would fall on the chamber. It would not fall on us. That made me feel a little bit better. And then as far as the free swim goes, she didn't have like a cost associated with it. It would depend on how many staff it took to man the pool. She wasn't sure what staff she would have, and then of course how many people funnel through for the day too. So she did not have a good idea on what that might look like, but we can just do, like, we can also just say we want this much money to go towards this activity, and then they'll look for.
How much was it a bouncy house?
I did not have a cost.
So we would just be
With
one of a number of
Yes.
sponsors that
Yes.
help. So it wouldn't be something that's totally fine, but
Exactly.
So do we sponsor the same amount to the chamber as we did to the youth baseball?
would be one.
Only 50. Well, that's a separate line item.
Yeah, I think the request was just paid for public health, not. it was-
I think it could be
Either way,
publicity for the clinic too, perhaps as well. So they are asking on here, at least it's spelled out, so sponsorship for fireworks, but that wasn't discussed, and that number's a lot larger than we want to go. Break sponsorship, she didn't talk about that, and then she said children's activity sponsorships from $200 and up. So they're asking for a little bit more than what youth baseball is. So
Would you-
starting at $200.
Like when you do something like this daily through public health, is that, I don't know if I'm searching for the right word, is it a reimbursement type of a deal? I mean, is it money that we use through public health that you can justify as a,
Advertising.
or not advertising, but as like something for a tobacco, like babies,
Right,
that
could I
stuff?
make it fall into a
Yeah.
program? Possibly, I don't know the direct answer on that.
Yeah.
My thought would be, you know, it could come from, well, it could be like child adolescent health and, you know, around, you know, physical activity and, or alternative programs like the ADPET program, the alcohol drug prevention. That again, it's just activities that are going on to help keep kids busy. So that is what I want to explore. Worst case scenario, we pull it from the county contribution and use it from that.
Right, yeah, okay. I guess we don't receive these, historically, this as the clinic, receive a lot of donation requests. No, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's maybe the answer to that. But for me, I guess with public health being so new, I think the more times we can get our name out there, and make the public aware is a good thing.
Sure.
And so how are they gonna put up a banner or something?
They were gonna make signs.
Signs up, yeah.
Okay, supporting either of those, the pool or the bouncy house. Then would be
So you need.
good to go.
I don't know what kind of motion.
Well, just do it to me.
Yeah.
Spending money.
I don't know.
It never hurts to help.
It was $150.
Starting it's like.
200.
Yeah.
Why would you donate $200? Is that correct? To say to the chamber
Yes.
or?
Children's activities sponsorship.
Okay.
And that's for public health.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
I will say, if you want the clinic to be a part of it too, I'm certain they would appreciate more sponsors as well. If you want to vote for them, just throwing it out there.
Just out of curiosity, when we're doing things like this, it'd be interesting to see how much is in the budget for that area left this year. Because I hate to approve something that the money's not there and then we're kind of going over.
Yeah, right.
Do we know what the bottom line is? Or, because we're coming up on the end of the year, and they have money there to spend.
I don't know who makes these reports so small, but geez.
Yeah,
And then they always come out on the side.
Yeah.
What would that be?
Should be a donations.
yeah, it should be under donation.
Donations or advertising.
Or community involvement.
Seemed like to me it was donations. Seemed like there was donations and advertising.
Public health donations, or is that just for people? Does that mean donations from?
Well, that's the problem. Is it either income or expense? Okay, here we go. So there's advertising, community health enhancement.
I think it could.
Yeah, that's, so the budget is $500 there, and we haven't spent any of that.
So we just spent $150
No, that-
for the clinic. Oh, that's public health.
Oh, no, you're right, 150 from the
Baseball.
baseball, yeah.
Mhm. But that was, we still have the money for the 200.
Yeah.
And that's public health you're looking at, Lisa?
So this is clinic.
Oh, okay, so we could do clinic too.
I feel like community health enhancement would probably be the best place to take that from, and that's $500 total, so minus 150 is 350. No, yeah, 350. And then if we did 200, we have 150 left. Sorry. Yep.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay, we'll put that in there.
So should we do the clinic also for the 4th of July?
Yeah, I moved the clinic limits $200 to the chamber for the 4th of July children's activity.
Okay, Tori, your second. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you for looking at that for me.
Okay. And just quickly, I'm working on applying for the Dillon County operational grant again. We didn't apply for it last year, the clinic did not apply for it last year. I'm gonna give it a go this year. And we'll see how it goes. I'm working on the grant, and it's again good that Holly has applied for it in the past, because that helps.
Yeah.
How much are you asking for?
Oh, that's a good question. In the past, it's always been $150,000. And I think that's what I had in my mind, but I'm happy to consider whatever the board thinks or wants.
That sounds like a good.
And maybe we wouldn't get it all, maybe we would, who knows,
Yeah.
but I think staying with that through. And the information on the computer was really detailed, so I was hoping, because that's coming right up, 26.
Yeah. What's today?
15, that's it.
Thank you.
And any other questions about that? Everybody's fine with 150? Okay. So we're just trying to get rid of stuff around here. The next, so again, I feel like in the board policies, it might outline a little bit better things like this. And so, and what I mean by things like this, I mean that we have a set of furniture that was purchased when Holly was here, and it's like nice stuff. It's not just your average $200 or $300 Amazon desk. And so we've gone back and forth about like, should we surplus this? We don't really know what it's worth at this point, but it's nice stuff like purchased from a furniture store, like Ashley Furniture. No. And so I just did up another resolution to declare it surplus. And so I just hope that y'all will do that. And then my thought this time was to put a price on it and put it on Gillum County Traders. See if we can get it sold. It's nice stuff.
It was in the back office where Ashley and I are initially, and I think it's more like dining room furniture, so it's a smaller table, it sits kind of high. And so it's not
really a desk.
It's not a very, for a short person like me, it's not a very functional office piece of furniture. And then there's like a sideboard.
It looks like a buffet almost.
Yes,
That's what I said it was. It's a home desk, a buffet, and a side table. And it does say buffet, I think, on the thing.
But it's,
So it
it's
is
a
nice,
little
yeah,
big for,
yes,
it's
for the
kind of-
spaces that we have, which is why we ended up moving it out of there, because for Ashley and I to be in there and work together, like we couldn't see over, make it fit.
So you're both working off of one desk then?
No, we purchased different desks that are actual desks, and then, measured everything out to make sure it would fit the space that we were in, so we could have our own areas, and that, gave us the storage space that each of us needed, plus our own working areas, and yeah.
So I think we should research before we put it on like Gillum County Traders or something like that, what the legality of actually surplusing and getting rid of public property is. It may need to go to auction and go through an auction process rather than just a direct for sale. So I think we should be careful with that.
As opposed to, okay.
Yeah, as opposed to just putting it out direct for sale,
Okay.
to ensure that we're following the rules of surplusing and disposing of public property.
Part of our.
Well, it'd be something to know, at least. I know that anything over a certain dollar amount on our side of the rules over there, the county has to go to public auction, where we can't do like a direct for sale. So I want to make sure that we're in line with that.
But we can surplus it. We know that we can do that.
We can do that, but how we dispose of it, once the resolution's made, it's declared surplus, then we'll have to figure out what the appropriate way to do that. Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
And do we need a motion for this resolution? I'm gonna make the motion for the resolution to surplus that furniture as listed, the buffet, table, chairs.
Yeah, Ashley Furniture, home desk, buffet, and side table.
There you go. So I'll make that motion for that resolution.
okay.
I'll second that.
And that's listed as 2024-02.
2024-02. It's our second resolution of the
Okay.
year.
All right, got it. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, health benefits.
I already talked about that.
Okay, never mind.
Just need you to sign.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're on to old business. We've had billing on there. I don't have anything specific. It still seems to be going well.
March is not, actually,
Yeah.
not very good.
No, I don't.
A what?
Don't report.
Yeah.
I give you guys an inch and you take a mile.
Were you able to run the next gen reports to show us what the AR is?
Okay.
in Next gen before you close it down?
I have what I think it might be, but I'll give it to you and you can look at it. I didn't want to make copies because I don't even know if it's the right thing. But I'll give it to you. You can take a look. This is a little too, so I don't know if you have glasses or not, but.
Can't live without.
Do that Azalea one, Lisa, do they provide patient portal?
Yes.
They do.
Yes, and that is something that we talked about at our staff meetings, and we have another staff meeting tomorrow. And it is something that there are a few patients that actually have been set up on it. And it is something that we want to do here. It's just that, with billing stuff, we just need a little bit more time, but that is our plan.
In the future, it's
Yes.
going to be set up for
Yes.
everybody that's a patient who will have that access.
If they want to,
Okay.
yes, yep, and there, like I said, I think that Margaret has said that there is like 1 or 2 people that they did with their emails and just to kind of try it out, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is definitely on our radar.
Okay, good, thanks.
No, this doesn't show you what's left on.
See, I knew it.
This gives you, let's see, what span till March 1st of 23.
I just did,
12/31/23.
I just did
And see, you would have needed the whole year's worth. To see,
12.
because you got all your self-pays out there that just show, and I probably stop by and help you
Okay.
run the reports
Yeah.
to see what's sitting out there, still needing to be collected.
Probably through Rachel.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, Azalea looks like they're doing good. How often are you running your statements?
Once a month.
So you're only doing the monthly, it's not based on a 28-day cycle then?
No, I'm doing that, and so I just do them at the end of the month.
When running statements, if you ask Azalea, what is our statement count? Is it a 28-day cycle? Then if you run them every week, that gives you a smooth flow of cash. And if I'm seen today as a self-pay and you run statements at the end of the week, I've got my bill. I don't have to wait a whole month
So just
before I get my bill. And then once that statement's ran, if the system says Kathy Johnson got a statement on 15th of April, 28 days after, even if you ran it again next week or the week after, I'm not gonna get one till 28 days go by, and boom, now I get my next statement showing payment if I made it,
Okay.
and what my balance is. But that gives you a smooth cash flow for your clinic rather than a big surge and then somebody sitting out there, God, I forgot all about how did I even know that?
So I need to ask Azalea there.
What their cycle days are for statements. It'll really help with your cash flow. Especially for your budget. Because they're gonna get their statement every 28 days.
Okay, I'll do that.
It's anyhow something to think about.
Yeah.
Construction project update?
I'll let Daylene talk about this if she wants. We don't really have a huge update.
No, I don't remember what was given, because I wasn't here last time, what was given before. We did meet again with Herman and,
Travis, what was that?
Travis.
So at the last meeting,
Like,
you all had said to reach out to a contractor just to even see if they would be able to meet our timeline. And so we talked with Travis Rutherford.
yeah, we started with him. He was on and did work in the initial remodel, so the building exists, right? And then updating on the
The first
exam
phase.
room side, yes, so he's got experience and history. He is interested in taking that on. He doesn't have any availability to start until the beginning of the year. I threw a couple ideas out there, like if we needed to do some concrete work beforehand, you know, when you're doing some work up at the golf course, could those maybe go hand in hand together just to do little bits? And he was actually very open to that idea.
Do you have any idea of the cost?
No.
We didn't go down that avenue. We talked to him about, you know, what we were looking at with the three different, what we're calling three different projects. The remodel, the finish of the remodel being one, the addition being the second, and the carport being the third one. So,
Is this financed through all that COVID? No.
No.
COVID just didn't.
the carport is through the COVID funds. The addition or part of the addition will be through the modernization funds. So PE 51 is the one that we were approved from for that 100,000. Yeah, so that was public health. And then the finish of the remodel, there is still, I believe, in the budget, it has been left in the budget to finish the remodel. So that's been in there for a couple of years.
Through the health district.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, through the clinic. So it's kind of a three-piece.
So David, we actually had a contractor sign and going on finish of the remodel and they backed out at the last minute.
Like years ago or?
It's
Last
probably
year or 2 years
2
ago.
years
Oh,
ago,
right,
maybe.
yeah. So this
Uh,
might- yeah.
Yes.
Right,
Right.
it was, we had the funds for it and they were signed and, you know, we could have held them to the contract and the feeling of the board at that time was, did we really want somebody working on a project? that we
Right.
didn't want
They
to
do
do it,
whatever you do.
So we released them from the contract because they no longer wanted.
Would be interesting with the cost increase over 2 years, if we had the funds available to complete the project
And that could
today.
be something that could go into the operational grant that, because in the past, I believe that's what we've done is to help, you know, make some improvements on the building.
Yeah, so there, and then, the roundhouse is another option that, you know, we did talk to them about our upcoming projects. And so it's, you know, I feel like those organizations like Roundhouse and Family Ford Foundation are just good people to have in our back pocket.
Yep.
And as we're moving forward and getting, you know, more realistic and accurate numbers with the construction projects, then we can, you know, potentially look for funds to help complete those projects too, because it will be more, it'll cost more, I mean, than what was originally thought, so. Yeah.
So we have a starting point, somebody who's interested and willing, but it wouldn't start until the beginning of 25, which then we went into like, okay, it's winter time, maybe we start with the remodel before we start with addition, so that could be a good winter project for them and get started sooner rather than later. And the way we did write into the modernization budget for that $100,000, it was building, what we say, building improvements or additions. So it's not specific to additions, so we could use that $100,000 to start with the remodel.
Do we have the one bid?
We will,
Yeah.
yes.
And I don't think we necessarily have to actually have the separate bids, but we have to put it out for bid. Because in the past, sometimes we've only had one person that's been interested in. Yeah, right. Thank you. Anything else? Okay, and speaking of bids, the band bids.
Okay.
We actually had a couple people watching.
Actually, we did not have a couple of people. So, last week Eli Caudill came in and looked at the van and he submitted his bid of $300. Today, his wife came in and said, "Are you allowed to tell me how many bids there are?" And I'm like, "I have no idea," but I didn't want to tell her. Like, I didn't know if I was supposed to, so I was like, and so she says, "Oh," and she hemmed and hawed, and she goes, "I feel like, he's pretty good, and if he looked at the van and everything, but I feel like I should bid 500, so I'm gonna submit a bid for 400.
So it's only one family.
She said, "I just wanna, I wanna increase his bid." And I go, "Okay." So she just wrote on here and I said, "You have to write the date though." And because I don't want it to look like I came in here and wrote. Anyway, so we have, one bid then for $400 for the van. Are we good? Do we want to sell the van for $400 to Keely Caudill?
So that would say give it to him.
No.
No.
Yep.
Okay.
She said she
It won't
wanted
cost
to.
more. Okay. Right. That would be the public health.
Yes.
Okay. We won't say. This will be a secret bid.
See, I know that we're, I mean, you can sell it yourself at Knox. You just do it all the time. You have to advertise it for bids for this people to this state. Basically sell
Mm,
it.
That's what we did.
And so I think it's all good. We can do the same thing with the table.
I feel like we can get more out of furniture and things.
Well, and one of the things you can always do is set a reserve on how much you're selling. So if you set a reserve on that, and you think that it's worth at least $1,000, you can set a reserve of $1,000. Well, then if it doesn't meet the reserve, you don't have to sell it.
Yeah.
And that's what you, but I think, as long as it's open to anybody who wants to come in and put a bid on it up to this state.
It was in the paper, which is
Yeah. So I think
2
that
weeks
it's
or whatever.
completely above board. Because anybody can kind of feel that that's the only people that offer. So whatever.
They help it.
I haven't even looked at the thing. I have no idea.
It's worth more than $400, in my opinion.
Is it run?
Yes,
Well, it's worth probably at least $1,000.
Yeah, yeah. So the thing is that, we weren't sure whether it ran, but, basically we found out that the battery was dead and the battery wouldn't charge until we took it down to them and they did the trickle charge thing and the battery's fine and put it in the van and the van runs. So I even started it when, Eli came to look at it, so.
And it was donated to us, but as long as we keep it, we've been advised it needs liability insurance.
Yeah.
So it is costing us money for something we're not using.
And up until this year, it was fully covered, and then I did
Yeah.
ask John about dropping it down to liability since nobody drives it, so. I think so, yeah.
Okay, is there a second?
1 second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Right.
Okay.
Mr. and Mrs. Cadill.
Signage update?
So Kent has done what he can on the sign, and the next step is we're taking it, we'll get it, the powder coat put on it, because it's a metal sign. and it looks really good. And so once we,
The Hermiston for that, right?
yes, so we take it to Hermiston for the powder coat. And then once he gets, once we get that done, we'll bring it back, and then Melanie is gonna do the lettering. And then, she'll do that out at Kent's shop. And he'll finish it up, whatever he has to do to finish it up. So that's what the sign looks like, and he's gonna help,
Oh, yeah.
he'll help us get it, installed, yeah, installed, all that.
Oh, that's good.
We seem to be.
So are we going to change the lettering? Like if we have hired another provider or changed providers, we don't have to find a whole new sign?
Correct. That's right.
Awesome.
And we're not gonna put providers' names, we're just gonna put South Gillum Health Center on the big card, and then
That's okay.
Gillum County Public Health, and then like CCS, the dentist.
When you look at it, it looks
Each
fine.
of those are
Almost
yeah,
the same.
correct, so. if
I'm sorry.
something changes,
That's okay.
those ones can be
We'll find
removed,
out.
and then the other one.
If it's vinyl siding, the heat gun, a lot of stuff acts right on. In fact, I've got a really cool rubber wheel that you stick on a drill and take that off.
We seem to be going to Hermiston fairly frequently, is that, so I don't know if we need either pickup or if we have if that would help.
So, so Gary and I have to go to the Tri-Cities on Friday,
Okay.
and, as long as the sign will fit in his pickup, we can take it, but he was gonna check with Kent to make sure, because, yeah, Gary's bed is a short bed, not a long bed, so.
Ours is too, but we do have a utility trailer, if that would help.
Okay.
One more
And it's that,
Yeah, it's heavy.
So it looks heavy.
I don't have to-
yeah.
Very similar to what's out there, it's just metal. Yeah, and updatable.
Sure.
You can get something,
Is it
you know,
gonna be, in concrete on the ground?
All right.
Yeah.
Anything?
Where are you gonna put it?
we're actually gonna, we're not gonna put it underneath that tree. Since we have the add-on, we're gonna put it sort of in the middle,
Oh,
between.
okay, so you can see.
Yeah.
That tree is overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah.
It used to be this high. So did I. That's what happens when you plant trees.
And we always plant too close to the house, or under a power line. Yeah. Anything else, sign? Okay, sorry, I didn't read the agenda club. Here we are, clinic policies and procedures, which I jumped to earlier.
So just, the policies and procedures that I gave you all, Cindy has been going through them or she did go through them, and she made some changes. And I'll work on getting those updated and get them printed and that, all that kind of stuff.
There are a few little things, but the one that I found was, like job description titles that I felt didn't fit, because Jennifer Ahmed's position is compliance officer, but within the policies, the compliance officer was more of an administrative position that could, meet with an employee that wasn't following, so those type of things didn't fit. And so, you can search a job to say compliance officer and follow that through some of the job descriptions. But overall, I think it was.
And the good thing is that we are in compliance because those policies, even the ones that we have that were done, are updated by, they were updated by that gal. And so it's not such a rush to get, we were out of compliance before because they were not updated. And so all the policies are updated. And if we did have a surveyor come, we would show them the policies and we would look at them and say, they were approved in 2023 or 24 or whatever. I think it was January 24. So we're in compliance. So it's not a huge rush, but being there are some changes, maybe we'll do that and get them reprinted.
pre-nap.
I was.
Some of the legal. Yeah.
Yeah. Procedures, trying to read through those. Your attention span's like 20 minutes, and you're like.
So I do have a question regarding the RHC policies and procedures. One of them is to meet, with your public and to have your public
Advisory, yeah.
Have you done that yet?
Dr.
Because they will, if you get audited, they
Yeah.
will want to see
So-
those meetings in the minutes.
Dr. Edwards is in charge of, the advisory committee, and we haven't, I don't know that there's been a meeting. But he has been working on, the things that he needs to gather in order to, do a meeting. Because he wants to get, I think part of the requirements on the advisory board is, quality assurance. So like some data, you have to look at data and then, do some, like a patient survey, a patient satisfaction survey. So I sent him, the patient satisfaction surveys that we used from CCS because we had to do them every 3 months. And so he was working on, I mean, it's a super simple survey. So he is working on it. The answer to your question is no, he has not convened a meeting yet, but he's working on the items that.
So you need to be thinking about a community member that's not on the board that can sit in on that meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're public health and you're here, you need a community like, I don't know, somebody off the street that comes in and sits in on that meeting to meet the RHC piece of it.
And actually, when I read the policies, it did not have that requirement. And Dr. Edwards had asked me if I would serve on the advisory committee. And
Maybe the rules have changed.
And I was surprised because I had thought the same way that you had. And one of the notes I put in there was, did we need to have either a community member and did that person have to be a patient of the clinic? You know, I just asked some questions and my other thought was, I think there was only 3 members, and it was a provider, the medical director, and I can't remember what the qualification was for the other person. But that was one of my comments on the policies was, I was wondering if maybe a committee of 5 would be better than a committee of 3 anyway. So I think that's still in works.
Yeah.
So it looked to me like maybe that had changed.
The rules may have changed.
Yeah.
They've been out of it for a few years.
But I know it's on one of the dog-eared pages.
He is working on it though. I mean,
Yeah.
he has talked to you.
Okay. Anything else? Ambulance report.
That's clear.
Oh, sorry, that was our added thing.
Oh,
It's clear here. Okay, sorry.
Last time, we discussed a little bit about a membership charging, because you said approximately 20 people come through here. We just discussed that, and then you were gonna find out more information about that. Is that correct?
I think
So-
you were gonna find more information out about like the after hours access thing.
Right, yeah. I still don't know what the answer is on whether or not we can charge under our current insurance bills. I think that's something that we need to inquire with the insurance company. And I haven't. I just haven't taken time to try to hunt that down. I have been told that if you start kind of that, becomes kind of a for-profit and pay to play, that it could change the way this wellness center is viewed and how we're insured and what that costs in our insurance. So that's still a question that's outstanding. I did talk to Jack Malek over at Malek, at Verkada, If you're not familiar with Verkada is a company that deals with cloud-based security and access control. Kind of one of the forerunner names out there, them and Motorola. And he is working up a quote for me on as to what that would cost for a single access point RFID. And the neat part about that is they would have RFID cards. They come in pack about $300 for a pack of 100 cards. Or you can have the folks download an app on their phone and they can make access to their phone. It does the same thing. It logs whoever comes through the door since their device opens, whether it's their ID card or their phone, and it would log onto the computer that, hey, this person has access to that. At this time, I don't think we could really do a beat out, but it would be how we do that. So, and then I talked to her about 3 cameras, and I figured 3 cameras would cover what we want. One specifically, a dome watching the door in that area, and then one to kind of cover this, and then one to cover that. I think we could do it with three simple domes, not getting fancy with the cameras, and staying a bit lower. What we're looking at for some kind of a budget. And so I was hoping to get that before. They have been forthcoming. I talked to Katie yesterday, not yesterday, Friday. Yeah, and she was hoping to have it $3.
And is it a for-profit if it is, the intent is just to keep up the equipment, replace, update, and,
Well,
I'm
and that-
curious about, yeah,
That's what we have to ask. And the biggest part of that's going to be insurance.
Yeah.
It's just going to be insurance. And that, now that there's no cost for it, every come goes, they, want to, that sort of thing. I think that's the biggest liability that we would have is the insurance.
Who's our insurance lawyer?
Or that's,
So it's better to give you a call and ask
Yeah.
him.
and I did talk to him, the first week that I started here, it was time to meet to talk about all the insurance, and I did ask him, I said, the wellness center we had after hours access, would it change our insurance? And he said it definitely would, but then we didn't talk about it again. So, yeah, I can call him and ask him what that might look like. And somebody was saying that, the insurance company might require cameras if we did something like that anyway. So, and I think that, David, you've talked about charging, like a membership fee. And I think that something that we can kind of think about later, and it's definitely not something we have to decide now, but, I've thought about this a lot because, when the wellness center was built, there was a grant that was used to build the wellness center. And the whole idea, and I read the documents, the whole idea was to be able to offer the wellness center for people free of charge, However, I realize and understand that we cannot upkeep the equipment, and not charge, we have to figure out something, I guess. And so I've kind of thought about, charging the people that want to have 24-hour access, and other people who just come in here during the day when we're open, that not being a membership fee or something. Those are the kind of things that I thought. I know that there's lots of options to consider, but
I guess if the insurance is prohibited, it becomes a moot point.
exactly, yeah. But yes, I think that we definitely need to start exploring somehow.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, that is a big point.
Yeah.
They want to be able to get in and use it when they can.
Mhm.
And a lot of folks are busy during normal work hours.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when we first talked about it, I know Nicole put it in the budget just as a placeholder for memberships for this year and you know, we didn't do anything, but I know Mike expressed some real concern. So if he says, if I have a patient that using the wellness center would be beneficial for their health, I don't want them not to be able to do that because of a cost. And we talked about, you know, having a prescription card that would allow, you know, if the provider indicated that was part of their recovery, you know, whatever, that there would be a way for patients to access it as part of it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I think I like the idea of access as being an additional charge. And I think I would just bet if we asked a lot of people, if it's a minimal, I mean, charge, but yeah, like you said, the insurance.
If it was more of access fee, you know, the cost to support that up there of access rather than membership.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Paying for extra insurance. Yeah.
I don't know if it would matter for the insurance company, but for, you know, for me, I would.
Yeah.
Make sure I can get, you know,
Yeah, and we could always, you know, we could do something like, they do this at bigger gyms, like, and this is not a number that I'm married to, I'm just using it as an example, but like $20 a month, or if you pay for the whole year, you get a break, you know, like, so just things like that too, so, you know, we definitely need to consider it, but I feel a little hesitant to do it. People don't have after hours access, and if we decide to do the after hours access, whether we get a grant or whatever, I feel like that sort of does push us into a different level, and we do need to charge people, at least those people that have the after hours, but I don't know. But there are lots of people that say that. There was a guy that came in 2 weeks ago, and I've never seen him step foot in here before. And he's like, Lisa, this is not the right time to be open, to be working out. Why can't I have access after hours? And I'm like, I'm sorry.
I might be jerks, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Did I miss anything else? Our addition. Ambulance report, end of the month, hopefully. We have pre-hospital trauma and life support class. We have 12 to 13 people that are doing it. And it's going to be, we found in the past that paying a little bit extra to bring a trainer in allows us to train more people for less than it would be if we had to send. We couldn't send 12 to 13 people away somewhere for training and still have an ambulance available. So it's better to have the trainer come here. And
2.5 day training.
right, so that'll be 12. It'll be Friday night, all day Saturday, most of Sunday. It's a 16-hour class. It'll be a nice blend of ambulance, clinic, public health. So Mike will be there. He's also on the ambulance service. Eileen is coming for part of it. And Ashley is joining us to do it. So, so we have, so that's, it's a big deal. The guy that teaches the class is one of the drummers for the Condon Highland Guard. You've probably seen him for the July Parade.
Oh,
That's
that's fun.
Scott Cooper, really nice guy. We have 3 students who have started the EMT class. Daleen is one, so they're going through an online program through Idaho and have a year to do that self-paced class, which is working well for the students with that. So it's Daleen, Todd Lake, and Dana Selby. We did case reviews last Wednesday night with Dr. Edwards, and that's just a time where we take runs that we've been on, that we get extra feedback from him, and so we ended up reviewing for different cases, diabetic, stroke, respiratory, and pediatric call. So that was good. He always likes to come and have pizza with us, and it's fun. And Mike and Kurt participated in that. In particular, one of our patients we picked up here, and so we followed through with that patient as well. So we are getting ready to sell our old ambulance, the 2008 Ford, AKA the Lemon, and we will do it through the public service auction site that meets all those requirements. They're really good to help you set up the auction, and you know it's done by the state, and then they have X amount of time to come and pick it up. The last ambulance we sold through there, guy flew into Colorado, paid Jim $200 to pick him up at the airport, and came and got the ambulance and drove it up to Colorado. So
And they add their buyer premium on top of whatever your bid is. So it really
Yeah.
costs
and you can put a minimum, so you don't, you know, we put, I think, $3,000 on that 20-year-old ambulance, and we ended up getting almost $7,000 for it. So that was nice. Somebody made a camper out of it. Whatever.
That's what they said they want to do about this van.
Yeah.
Big trailer.
Yeah. So we were just waiting for the weather to get nice because when you put it on there, you take about 40 million pictures of every cabinet, the engine, every compartment, everything. So we were just waiting for the weather to get. That's what we got. So we'll get that done. Just an FYI, we had kind of an interesting event on Friday that showed a really nice cooperation between multiple county agencies. Fossil Ambulance was out on a call. They called us for mutual aid. We had 3 of our crew members head to Fossil in an ambulance, and one of our crew members who works at Asher Clinic go to the scene. Arlington Ambulance drove to Condon to cover for us while we were in Fossil, and Boardman was on standby to cover Arlington if they had a call while they were covering for us. And I just think that's a nice look at some cooperation that goes on. We typically have enough people around to staff 2 ambulances, but that particular day we did not. So that was a nice way to make that work. And hopefully it never happens that way again. So, but our Fossil had 3 calls that day. So we were stretched. Anyway, it's seen everyone's world.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I talked
Did
about
CPR training?
Oh yeah, we did. 3 of the staff. 4 of us did CPR 2 Fridays ago. It was. And so we're all trained up in case something happens here. What else?
We're gonna plan a follow-up.
Oh yeah, yes, we're going to do a mock code here at the clinic. While Dr. Edwards is here, when they won't be here, so that we can see a good teacher.
So we'll actually pretend like there's a coded patient in your care room and use our non-medical people and everybody to make that happen.
Yeah. Just like I said, working on the budget with Nicole, trying to get the cost report wrapped up. Don't forget about the open house on the 15th. That's a month away. Okay. Yes, we have insurance.
And do they need to be in the fire station?
I don't know. I can ask him.
Okay, because that, I'll maybe see if Shannon, I'm gone that day, but maybe Shannon could show me the engine part
Okay.
of the station. We don't own the building, we just rent. The ambulance service is a renter, so it just be equipment, I would think. If it's insurance, the building's insured through the district.
And then we also had a workers' comp, I forgot about that, a workers' comp call. I had to fill out a bunch of information ahead of time, and then we had a phone conversation about what the people do around here and stuff, so I haven't heard any follow-up about that. So all kinds of stuff, making sure we're in compliance. But I will check on that soon.
Okay.
This is done. She and I are working on the quarterly report right now. So I'm kind of excited after today. We're attempting to do it by ourselves, and then we have time scheduled with Leah in 2 weeks in case we have questions, and then just double check work and make sure, you know, we've got it all lined up. We are working with the junior class in common right now around prom. And so that can be like one of our alcohol drug prevention activities. So we're working on making prom a little bit bigger and more activities for the kids so that they'll stay and hang out a little longer than 1 hour. So we're working with Marilee, who's the advisor, and helping purchase decoration items, and then we're going to do raffle items at the end of prom. So you have to be present to win said raffle items, hopefully to keep them there. And that's going well. We're waiting to see the poster, so they're doing a Hawaiian display, a Hawaiian theme, and it will have a alcohol drug prevention slogan attached to it. So the slogan they chose was "Aim high, don't be high," and then Gillum County Public Health will be on the poster as well. So they'll have those around the school, and something I could put on
Our posters up at school.
Friday. Yeah, I haven't seen them yet. I told Emily, I'm like, before I push the buy button, I really need to see that all of these pieces are in place, because I've got to show that to the state, like in some of my reports too afterwards, you know, if I have physical things like
I'll
that.
take a
then-
picture of one tomorrow.
Well, and I think Wyatt's supposed to send it to her, and that, you know, sometimes it takes a little bit longer dealing with a teenager.
Yeah, they're posted up all over the school.
And then they're also going to include the slogan, the horticulture class is going to do the corsages and boutonnieres, since the locals not open, and then we'll figure out a way whether it's like on, you know, a ribbon that can be tied with those, but that will have the aim high, don't be high slogan with it too, so incorporate it in a couple of things.
Kind of just as a quick, listening to your alcohol drug stuff, you know, when you're talking about your prevention stuff, there's a new product that's being sold out of the Arlington Valley and market there. It's a psilocybin-free mushroom gummy called Cactus Labs. It's Amanita muscaria mushroom. It's apparently a legal compound in this gummy that produces intoxicating effects.
And it's sold out of Arlington Deli?
And it's over the counter. The gummies are gaining popularity in town and are reported to be very strong. You have 21 to purchase. Be anything, right? No kids get hold of this stuff. One user reported to the cashier he was so scared he was unable to walk from the hotel with his vehicle to the store. Thankfully he wasn't driving. So just so you know, this stuff's out there, the kids have it, and they're like gummy bears. But they're getting a hold of, so.
I subscribe to Tall Cops Says Stop, And he puts out like a monthly kind of report, if you will, of, new and upcoming trends. And he's talked about, I don't know if that is the specific name of one, but yes, talked about those and then some other things that, would just be a normal over the counter that you can add to enhance effects of other things that you're taking. Like my mind is blown.
What is
that
Yeah.
This is.
The
Health cost is, yeah,
And they do a lot of like, they have webinars that you can sign up for that are, he does them over Zoom, but it's only live, like you can't watch recordings or sign up and then see the recording. The expense of them isn't super high. But I asked him, like, I'd really love to bring him to Common. He's super expensive, but he can do trainings with staff, school staff. That was the one thing, like, I'd love to get like I don't remember the name, but basically they go through what the current trends are, what kids are doing to hide them, where to look, and, for parents too, not just teachers, but it just kind of helps keep everybody up to date on all the latest and
We
greatest.
could get him to come and we'd have multiple people who could pitch in to make it happen.
I went to a training, it's been a couple of years ago, and it was in the Dalles, and it was like the state highway or something helped sponsor it too. I mean, because it was like a safe driving type thing.
Because the Elks has their driving while prevention program.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Chamber
to
and
get a
school.
little- It would be nice to find times where you could get a lot of community members involved. That's how I ended up with, Deputy David Gomez. He works through Tallcox's stuff. And so, I kind of started with, Jermaine is his name, that started, has it with that, and ended up with, David Gomez on that, but his, like his newsletter, basically, that, comes out monthly, covers a lot of that, and then he talks about just, he's got a, podcast, that you can subscribe to and listen to, and gives you a ton of information there too. So if you're looking for exercise material or you just a bunch out.
It's pretty good. Ambulance service could maybe help with that too, as a training dollar, because we're seeing more of I bought it at a pot store, it's legal, but it doesn't, but then they're calling 911, because they don't
Understand the effects of.
Right.
they're not prepared for what they're themselves into.
Right.
Even the old school stoners that used to smoke a bunch of weed are, I mean, the stuff that's hitting the market today is, 80 and 90% pure THC. It's just disgusting. Back in my day, it was about 3%.
Yeah.
They don't even scrape the stuff up on the
Because
floor that's got THC content when I was a kid.
We're certainly more. So it's another,
And that's something I know, like, the state loves to get behind, county policies, what can we implement together and set with businesses? Can we implement something like that that says, no, we're not gonna allow the sale of this, that, or the other? I don't know all the details of that, but, we've been pretty basic out here for quite some time, but times are changing for sure.
I have heard rumors. Dispensary in the Delaware County. My understanding is that long ago.
Maybe that's all.
or was it city?
It was
county.
So,
City.
Well, I think the county should have it, the cities also. So, but I mean, times are changing. I think how they're going to change the law. Yeah. Who wants to try for the permit?
I don't think so.
Any further comments?
I just had a question, Is there any update about the, because I know the class we took didn't count as for board training that's changing. Does anyone know if there's any update on that or what?
I haven't seen or heard.
Yeah, okay, okay.
We're adjourned, 1947.
Oh, sure, wondered why.
It's so long.
Even though I wasn't, you want Lori to sign?
Yeah.
Do you want me to read that?
We're still recording.
So, we went around. I think we did see an increase in 24/7 calls. Okay, so,